Behind the dazzling smile, red carpet glamour, and the unforgettable roles that made her a global icon, Sharon Stone's life has been marked by pain, loss, and survival few could endure. At 67, the woman once hailed as Hollywood's ultimate femme fatale carries scars deeper than anyone ever imagined. Her story isn't just about fame, it's about resilience, betrayal, and a tragedy that nearly took everything from her. Sharon Yvonne Stone was born on March 10, 1958, in Meadville, Pennsylvania, a small industrial town that couldn't have been farther from the flashing lights of Hollywood. Her father, a factory worker, and her mother, a homemaker, raised Sharon and her siblings with strict discipline and strong faith. Sharon was different, bright, ambitious, and a dreamer. She graduated high school at just 15 and entered college on a scholarship, but deep down, she knew she wasn't meant for an ordinary life. In the late 1970s, she moved to New York, chasing dreams of modeling. It wasn't easy. She was told she was too smart to be a model, and too intimidating to be a starlet. But Sharon's sharp mind and undeniable beauty eventually caught Hollywood's attention. Her early career was a struggle. She took small roles in films like Stardust Memories and Irreconcilable Differences, but she was often dismissed as just another pretty face. Everything changed in 1992 with Basic Instinct. That one film, and that one unforgettable scene, made her a global sensation overnight. Sharon Stone wasn't just famous, she was powerful. She had the world's attention, millions of fans, and every director wanted her. But success came at a cost. Hollywood labeled her as the Ice Queen, and the very film that made her famous also trapped her in a box. She was over-sexualized, criticized, and misunderstood. What the world saw as confidence was, in truth, a woman fighting to be taken seriously in a ruthless industry. Despite it all, Sharon pushed forward. Her performances in Casino and The Quick and the Dead showed her incredible range. She earned an Academy Award nomination, a Golden Globe, and a reputation for being bold, fearless, and brilliant. But just as her career hit its peak, her life would be shattered in ways she could never have imagined. In 2001, tragedy struck. Sharon suffered a massive brain hemorrhage, a near-fatal stroke that left her fighting for her life. Doctors gave her only a 1% chance of survival. She spent 9 days in intensive care, enduring multiple surgeries to stop the bleeding in her brain. For 2 years, she couldn't walk properly, couldn't read, and couldn't even remember large parts of her past. The woman once known for her commanding presence on screen was now struggling to form sentences. When she finally began to recover, she discovered that Hollywood had already moved on. Directors stopped calling. Her agents dropped her. Roles vanished. Overnight, she went from being one of the most desired women in the world to being forgotten. "I lost everything," she later said. "My money, my career, my health, my family. I lost it all." As if that weren't enough, her personal life began to crumble too. Sharon had adopted her first son, Roan, in 2000 with her then-husband, journalist Phil Bronstein. But after her stroke, their marriage collapsed. What followed was one of the most painful moments of her life, a brutal custody battle. Despite being his mother, Sharon lost custody of her son in 2004. The judge ruled that her health and lifestyle made her unfit to raise him full-time. Sharon described that day as the most devastating of her life. "I stood there watching my child being taken away," she said years later, her voice breaking. "I couldn't stop it. I felt like I had died." The tragedy didn't end there. Her recovery from the stroke was long and lonely. She couldn't afford her house, her career was gone, and even some of her closest friends abandoned her. "People I had known for years stopped taking my calls," she recalled. "When you're no longer useful to Hollywood, you disappear." Still, Sharon didn't give up. She focused on rebuilding, slowly, painfully, one step at a time. She returned to acting in smaller projects, often for independent films. But something inside her had changed forever. The near-death experience gave her a new perspective. She became deeply involved in humanitarian work, using her fame to raise awareness about AIDS, children's rights, and global poverty. Yet tragedy followed her even through her later years. In 2021, she revealed that she had lost 9 children through miscarriages. Her honesty stunned the world. "It's no small thing," she wrote. "Physically and emotionally, it's devastating. I went through it alone, and women are expected to just handle it." She also opened up about being sexually abused as a child, a trauma she had buried for decades. The pain of her past, combined with her health battles and the loss of her children, created a lifetime of heartbreak. By her late 60s, Sharon was finally finding peace, but her body continued to betray her. Doctors have warned her about ongoing health complications from her stroke, and her memory problems have worsened over time. Friends close to her say she's been quietly preparing for the possibility that her health may decline again. And yet, even in her 60s, Sharon Stone continues to fight, not for fame, but for meaning. She's become an outspoken advocate for stroke awareness, mental health, and women's rights in Hollywood. Her resilience, after everything she's endured, is almost superhuman. Her recent public appearances have been emotional. In one interview, she said, "I had nothing left. No money, no custody, no career. But I learned something. When everything is gone, what's left is your soul." At 67, Sharon's story is not just tragic, it's inspiring. She represents every woman who's been broken by life but refused to stay down. Behind the beauty and fame lies a woman who has endured betrayal, illness, and loss, and still manages to smile. In her memoir, The Beauty of Living Twice, she wrote, "When I came back from death, I realized the only thing that matters is love. Fame fades, beauty fades, but love stays." Her words hit harder when you understand how much she's lost. In recent years, Sharon has kept her circle small, focusing on her 3 adopted sons, Roan, Laird, and Quinn, and using her platform to advocate for kindness. But even as she shares glimpses of her peaceful life, fans can't help but notice the weariness in her eyes. The strokes left permanent damage, and the emotional scars never fully healed. Her voice sometimes trembles during interviews. She laughs, but it's a laugh touched by pain, the laugh of someone who's seen the best and worst of humanity. At 67, Sharon Stone stands as one of Hollywood's most complex and tragic figures. A woman who once had it all, lost everything, and somehow found herself again. She's no longer chasing fame. She's chasing peace. In one of her last major interviews, she said softly, "I've already died once. Everything now is a gift." Her life, marked by tragedy, resilience, and redemption, reminds us that even the brightest stars can fall, but some, like Sharon Stone, find a way to rise again. Because sometimes, the most beautiful stories are the ones written in pain.